Imagine a doll that doesn't just sit still, but grows real human hair, whispers in the dark, and watches you when you sleep. Tonight we're talking about Okiku, the most haunted doll in Japan. Throughout history, dolls have always been more than just toys. They look human, they mimic us, and sometimes they seem too alive. In America, you've heard of Annabelle. In Europe, there's Robert the Doll. But in Japan, there's Okiku, a porcelain doll that has terrified priests, researchers, and tourists for over a century. She's not hidden away in some private collection. She's displayed open to the public in a Buddhist temple. And yet, many visitors leave feeling watched, cursed, or even haunted after standing before her. This is her story. The year was 1918. Japan was changing rapidly. The country had entered the modern era, electric lights, telephones, trains. But in the northern island of Hokkaido, life was still steeped in tradition, where Shinto rituals, Buddhism, and folk beliefs about spirits were part of daily life. It was in this environment that a 17-year-old boy named Eikichi Suzuki walked into a shop in Sapporo. Among the rows of trinkets, charms, and toys, one doll stood out. She wore a silk kimono, her face pale as porcelain, her hair cut in the traditional straight style with blunt bangs. Her dark eyes seemed almost human. Eikichi thought of his younger sister, Okiku, just 2 years old at the time. She would love this doll, he thought. He'd bought it and brought it home. From the moment little Okiku saw the doll, she adored it. She carried it everywhere through the garden during meals and tucked it under her blanket each night. It wasn't just a toy. It was her constant companion. But less than a year later, tragedy struck. Okiku, the little girl, fell suddenly ill. Some say it was a fever. Others say pneumonia. Medicine at the time couldn't save her. She died before her 3rd birthday. The Suzuki family was devastated. In their grief, they placed her beloved doll on the family altar, a sacred space where they prayed and left offerings for the departed. They believed that somehow the spirit of their lost daughter would stay close, comforted by the doll she loved so much. But soon, the family noticed something strange. At first, it was subtle. The doll's jet black hair, once neatly cut, seemed to grow longer. At first, just a few millimeters. Then, over weeks, down to her shoulders. The family trimmed it back, but it kept growing. Soon, guests began whispering about uneasy feelings when they entered the house. Some swore they saw the doll's mouth moving whispering prayers in the dark. Others claimed they heard faint giggles at night. The Suzuki family themselves began hearing footsteps at odd hours. doors sliding open on their own, a child's voice calling out from empty rooms. They became convinced their daughter's soul had entered the doll. From then on, they called the doll by her name, Okiku. Years passed. In 1938, the Suzuki family decided to move to a new home. They couldn't bring themselves to leave the doll behind, but they also didn't want to take her with them. They turned to the Manenji Temple in Iwamizawa, Hokkaido. The monks agreed to take the doll in, and to this day she still resides there. But Okiku didn't stop her strange behavior. The monks noticed the same thing. The hair continued to grow. They cut it regularly, carefully, as if trimming the hair of a living child. Sometimes they claimed the hair would sprout overnight, or even curl unnaturally when cut. Visitors and monks have described chilling encounters. Eye movement. Some say her eyes, once fixed, began shifting subtly, but enough to notice. Mouth changes. Rumors spread that small white teeth began forming inside her porcelain mouth. Dream invasions. Many visitors reported vivid dreams of a little girl asking them to play or warning them about something terrible. Audible voices. Monks have confessed to hearing whispers during their evening prayers, as if a child were chanting along. Even those who doubted at first left the temple uneasy, refusing to meet the doll's gaze. Skeptics have tried to explain Okiku. Some suggested the hair growth was an illusion caused by humidity or aging materials. But in the 1970s, a team of scientists reportedly examined strands of Okiku's hair. The results were shocking. The hair was indeed human hair. Specifically, the hair of a child. How could a porcelain doll, manufactured decades earlier, suddenly begin producing human hair? No one had an answer. To understand Okiku, we need to look at Japanese folklore. In Japan, dolls aren't just toys. They're seen as vessels for the soul. Families often use dolls in rituals, believing they can absorb bad luck or even house the spirit of a loved one. There's even a tradition called Ningyo Kyo, where old dolls are given funeral rites instead of being thrown away, because it's believed their spirits linger. So the idea of a child's soul living in her doll isn't so strange in Japanese culture. In fact, it's feared, because once a spirit attaches itself, it doesn't always let go. Today, Okiku sits inside a glass case at Manenji Temple. She wears a faded kimono, and her hair now brushes past her shoulders. The monks still cut it regularly, but they refuse to get rid of her. They believe Okiku's spirit still resides within, and that the doll must be respected, cared for, and never abandoned. Tourists who visit describe an overwhelming sense of dread. Some refuse to take photos, Others claim their cameras malfunction. And still, the legend spreads. Think about it. Somewhere in Hokkaido, inside a quiet temple, sits a porcelain doll, over 100 years old. Her eyes wide, her hair long and black. Visitors stand before her, staring into her glassy gaze. And many leave with the same terrifying thought. She wasn't just staring at me. She was looking straight through me. If you made it this far, you're braver than most. Would you dare to stand before Okiku and look into her eyes? Or would you stay far, far away? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more terrifying true stories from around the world, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because we have many more horrors waiting for you.